sing your song, 'cause music makes us friends, and friends like you are what we're here for, doing what we do. I wanna make you music, I wanna sing your song, yes, I want to share a good day with you and be your special friend. You and me and Beacon 303. Music, you and me and Beacon 303.
Hits, greatest memories. Beacon Radio, Stuart Hickman.
I thought we'd play some of the songs that I remember playing on Beacon during my time from 88 to 99, and the show that I was most associated with was Beacon by Request, which was the evening show. We started doing that in March 1990, and I remember programme controller at Beacon, Waggy Pete Wagstaff, who gave me my big chance in radio. We talked about putting this new evening show together, and we thought, well, this is a good idea. I wonder if it will work. I'd always wanted to be a Beacon, because it's my hometown radio station, and it was kind of different to all the other radio stations. And I'd done hospital radio, and I was actually working in Birmingham in the Virgin Megastore, as it was known. Which had got a little in-store radio station. And one of the people who worked on there was Bob Lawrence, who worked at Beacon. He made all the commercials. And in those days, there were what they called needle time restrictions. So you could only play a certain amount of music. Now, I'd got a series of albums which were called The History of Rock. And these were classed as non-needle time. And I mentioned this to Bob one day, and he said, we could do with those albums. We don't need the music. He said, we just need the album covers so we can get all the details. So I said, okay. He said, so can you bring them over? So I said, yes. So I took them over, and all I had to do was photocopy the back of these albums. But while I was there, Pete Wagstaff, who was the programme controller, came and said hello, and he said, Bob mentions that you're quite good at driving the desk. And I thought, really? And he said, we've got a news programme and we need someone to drive it. Would you like to have a go? And that was how it started. So I started doing that, and then they took me on full time as what they used to call a TO, technical operator, which was kind of playing the commercials, playing records for people of various things. So that was how I started.
How long were you there altogether?
I joined 88 and I left in 99, so 11 years. So.
And what shows did you do?
I started off doing weekend overnights. Then I moved to the late show, and then I got the big show, which was Beacon by Request, which was the evening show, which was a whole new idea in evening shows. And I spoke to it about Pete Wagstaff, who planned the whole show, and we were thinking, do you think this will work? And of course it worked superbly. I did that for 4 years, and it was absolutely huge, and it was just so much fun to do. That show was. Absolutely loved it.
Tell me about road shows.
Road shows were great. We used to, more than road shows, I used to do Beacon by Request. We used to take that out on the road, and we used to do it from strange places. We did it from the bowling alley at the Merry Hill Centre. That was fun. We did it for some pizza place in Telford, so it's quite nice taking the show out. Road shows, the ones I remember most were the Beacon Motor Shows, which we used to do at Himley Hall. And it was a chance for car dealers to have all their latest models, and there'd be a fair, and we'd do a roadshow there. And I actually, the first one I ever did, I ended up introducing Take That on stage, which was great. And they were late, and they said to me, you need to fill for 10 minutes. And I thought, what can I do? And they said, well, we've got a lost dog. And that was it. I gave them this card with details of a lost dog. And I think that was the longest 10 minutes of my life, actually. I remember E17 as well, because I tended to interview the bands, because I did like the teenage music show. And I actually got into trouble with the E17 one, because we'd arranged it with a record company for E17 to come, and they came one weekday about 11 o'clock in the morning. And I said on air, kind of jokingly, oh, E17 are going to be here tomorrow, so if you'd like to meet them, right, I'll be here till 11 o'clock, forget school, come down and meet them. Never thought any more about it, and then I turned up about 10 o'clock to prep for the interview, and there were all these kids were there, right? And the headmaster of the school they all came from complained, but my boss Pete Wagstaff was very good about it. He actually said to me, "Don't ever do anything like that again." And then afterwards he said, "But well done."
I was there on that day, I remember that.
Chuck Street, who did the show after me, after I moved from Beacon Borough Quest to afternoons, and he was on Andrew's last show, and it was kind of a tradition in American radio that I'd read about, that what you did was you kind of set fire to something in the studio. I mean, goodness knows you wouldn't get away, you'd be fired today. So Andrew was reading the weather, and I just got a cigarette light and set fire to it, and I don't think he's ever read the weather so quick. Of course, the big thing about Beacon was that it was always rumoured to be haunted. And of course, I was starting my first show was weekend overnights. And of course, the last thing everybody says to you is, don't forget it's haunted, and you're there completely on your own. If anyone remembers where Beacon was, it was on the Tettenhall Road. It was an old Edwardian house, and I think it'd been an orphanage at the time. And you know, I never believed in ghosts or anything like that until I was there on my own. And I never really saw anything, but I did hear a lot of things, and I was, in the end, I was actually quite comfortable with it, because it was just, it's nothing to worry about. But some strange things did happen in that building. My favourite one, there used to be a little passageway that used to go from upstairs, a shortcut down to the studio. I think it used to be called the servant staircase or something. And you could be upstairs where the coffee machine was. So I remember one night I went up to get a coffee and brought the coffee down, and obviously you could hear the radio station through the speakers, and they were playing some song, and I really liked it, and I was kind of whistling along to it, and I stopped whistling, went down the staircase, and the whistling carried on behind me. Seriously. And I thought, maybe these stories are true. I left Beacon in '99 and been in various places. I went to Classic Gold in Worcester, then I worked for the Links FM group in Hinckley. Did a lot of freelancing, worked for my old boss again, Pete Wagstaff, at his stations in Telford. And recently I've been working in Wales at a station called Radio Havern, which unfortunately is not in existence anymore, but I did the breakfast show there for a couple of years.
And now you're here?
And now I'm here on the breakfast show, which I absolutely love, even though getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I love it here. I'm having a great time at WCR.
Excellent. And how do you look back at Beacon?
It was just a magical time, because it was a radio station that wasn't frightened to try things. It always tried different things. I was lucky enough to work with a load of great people that I'd listened to on the radio for years, and it was kind of surreal that all of a sudden I was working with them. I was on the same radio station. It was, without doubt, it was the happiest time of my career, simply because of the people who were there. It was great people to work with.